Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out.
One of the funniest things we all go through in leadership and coaching and training and all the things that we hear in the workplace is we talk about trust and integrity. And that comes with a really, really heavy responsibility. When you think about trust, being honest, it's tough. It's very tough. Now, we're also conditioned to lie. Let's be honest. Your wife comes down the stairs. She's got a big stain on her dress. Her hair looks terrible. She looks goofy. And she says, "How do I look?" You're not going to say awful. You're going to do what? "Oh, you look great." In the workplace, by not being honest, we get ourselves in trouble. I'll share with you a very quick story. I had a leader who had an employee come up and say, "How am I doing?" And the leader was caught off guard by the request of the employee. And the employee was told in that moment, "Oh, you're doing pretty good." And what ultimately happened was, about 2 weeks later, the employee was written up. And the manager went on and on about performance concerns. And the employee said, "Well, I just asked you 2 weeks ago if I was doing well, and you said, yeah." "Oh, I'm sorry, I was rushed. I was going from meeting to meeting." Here's the funny thing. At that point, that employee lost trust. Guess what happened? That lack of trust started to make the rounds inside the company. Here's the other funny thing. Being honest in that moment is tough. So here's something for you to think about. Here's something for you to think about. When you are having conversations with people, being honest is tough. Now, people who know me know I can be extremely honest and extremely blunt. And I want to share with you a concept, and it's called emotional baggage. You know, one of the things that I have found being an entrepreneur and sharing this with other entrepreneurs is how much people, they say they don't want you to deal with their problems, but they will unload them. And we're all guilty of that, present company included. Yet when it comes at the expense of conducting business, we have got to be very careful. Now, we have all these things out in the marketplace. You've got to listen. You've got to show empathy. You've got to be there for your employees. You know, we're in a pandemic. Those are all important things, and I've written about them. Yet on the flip side, we've also got to make sure that we do not take ownership of other people's emotional baggage that they have decided not to deal with. I'll give you an example. I have a client site who had an employee who, in the midst of leaving the organization, went around, was very negative, talked negatively about the president, took upon the audacity to privately film and record his exit interview. He was quitting, and he took it upon himself and posted it on social media. So I ran into this person, and he started to talk, and I said, I've got to stop you. I'm not interested. I just need to be candid with you. The thought of listening to you right now and what happened after I saw the video that clearly you shot, I just choose not to talk to you. I hope you're okay with that. Wasn't mad, wasn't rude, wasn't disrespectful. And the guy was stunned. He goes, "Yeah, but you don't understand." I said, "No, you don't understand. That is a client of mine. I don't officially work there. I don't want to hear your emotional baggage. The way you dealt with it will ultimately become a cloud over your head." Years later, she is still struggling to find employment. Because in that moment of anger, in that emotional baggage, in that emotional reaction, she forgot something very important. Oh my gosh, my future employers are going to want references. And when I walked away, she literally followed me to my car and she said, I'm really surprised you're acting like this. I said, I came to the store for a reason. It was not to meet with you. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm moving on. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Yet what you did is baggage that you're carrying with you. You saw me. You didn't ask how I was. You didn't ask how my kids were. You didn't ask how my business was. You started to complain about your old employer from well over a year ago. Why would I want to have that conversation? Don't answer for you. Answer for me. And to her credit, she said, well, I guess you wouldn't. I said, I don't want to. Emotional baggage is when people haven't become self-aware and they start to put stuff into these bags and they carry them over the shoulder. They come into work and say, deal with this because I can't. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that I'm a very upbeat, positive person. I'll do anything to help anybody. Yet we have to not lose sight of one fundamental rule, and that is this. If people cannot or are not willing to help themselves, we cannot help them. And once we have people who bring in baggage, such as, woe is me, look at what I'm going through, and my family member is sick, and those are important things, don't get me wrong. Yet I'm struggling financially, or I can't have this, or this isn't going well, and you just never hear a positive thing. Sometimes these people, unbeknownst to them, do something very interesting. They release it. They get it off their chest. And they don't even realize they're doing it. And once they do it, they get through that moment and they say to themselves, I feel better. I just feel so much better. I got it off my chest. And they don't realize that they took this bag of crap, put it on your shoulders or put it on somebody's shoulders and said, could you just hold this for me for a while? So here's my advice. Look at your team. Look at that one or two people who might be carrying their baggage in every day. And you have to stop the entry of that baggage. You cannot own what they choose not to own. You cannot lift what they are not willing to lift. Emotional baggage is when someone comes into work, complains, commiserates. Now, as a coach, are we there for them? Should we be there for them? Absolutely. Yet it cannot be front and center with other people. My advice is, if you have someone lifting emotional baggage, bring it into work, put it curbside, or have a candid conversation that it can never be brought back into the office again. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagan and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.